Goose Fraba. Goose Fraba. All right.
Goose Fraba.
I'm going to be extremely nice. Mr. Stiff, Rector, interrupted that gentleman right there. That was a break of the rules of decorum.
Remove him.
Can we please remove this?
The rules are...
There's number 2. That's a second warning.
Okay, look, I'm chairing the meeting.
I am
addressing me. So please, you've done so well.
I'm trying to.
It's very easy.
Don't just let him speak. Let him speak.
Continue. Just address.
I'm addressing this stuff, man. You're literally rewriting these rules of decorum of not interrupting people and not saying this and not doing that. And oh, you're not from here. You know, I spoke to C.J. Grisham. He's a lawyer out of Texas. I spoke to him. I have more faith in a lawyer from Texas than I do with this lawyer here. And he can say whatever he wants to say, just like he was saying, oh, you can either get rid of it in its whole, but the thing about it is that it's being done in a malicious intent. You can't just restrict people's free speech under malicious intent. That was what y'all's words were. I come in here and I've never threatened a single person. I've never threatened Allbritton. I've never threatened any one of you. Sure, I get it. I have guns. We know I have guns. You know I have a vest. You know I open carry. But I've never threatened anybody. That is not who I am. In my 20s, dude, that might have been a whole other story. You know, we'd be bare knuckling it. It wouldn't even matter. It wouldn't have been a question. In my 20s, but I'm 45 years old. Oh yeah, my birthday's in 6 days. So if you want to wish me a happy birthday at the end of the meeting, you're more than welcome. If not, we can vote unanimous on it. But the core principle is right there underneath his head. That Constitution, my parents fought for. My grandfather died for. His great-grandfather lost his leg for. That's what that means to me. My family, the only reason I didn't get into the Marines is because I friggin' failed a drug test. And I'm sorry that I smoked weed, but I was trying to get away from it. You know, so be it. But I was trying to get my life together. I was trying to get away from this and get into something that gave me structure. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for me. But I found my true calling was by what? Using my voice, expressing my rights, teaching others people how to speak for themselves. And the people that can't speak for themselves, where are all these people that don't want me here? Where are they? You would think today of all days, these people will be standing up saying, yes, we do not like the guy from friggin' 4 hours away that lives in Port St. Lucie that has to drive his wife and daughter over here so that they can go play in the library and go play at the park at Coachman Park, and then we're going to go over here to get pizza. You know, I'll do it from 4 hours away. Doesn't bother me.
Okay, seeing none, council discussion.
Yeah, this is gonna get interesting, and I want you to pay attention to this guy Mike.Mannino. He got a script. Somebody wrote him a script, and yeah, I'm gonna let him speak for himself. But just pay attention to him while he's speaking because he's reading a script.
All right, I'll open the conversation. First, let me acknowledge that I recognize the essence of a free society is one that permits members of the public to have the ability to use their voice, including being critical of the government and us as a council. If there's a bedrock principle underlying the First Amendment, it's that a government may not prohibit the expression of an idea or discriminate against speech based on its content, its viewpoint, or simply find the expression disagreeable. Let me be clear that this council is not interested in silencing speakers, whether you're from here or not, simply because you offer a disfavored viewpoint or are critical of the city of Clearwater or your elected officials. We've unfortunately, as a city, been forced to face challenges associated with identifying and protecting the boundary where free speech becomes excessively disruptive, and to safeguard the rights of our residents to participate in the political and civic process free from intimidation and harassment. Sadly, I think we all would agree that sadly, the escalation of disruptive and obstructive behavior has created an atmosphere of hostility within this city hall, where many of our residents are fearful to attend and to participate in their local government. Outside of these walls is what many of you are not seeing, are not reading, and are not hearing. Our staff, your city council, has continually been threatened with harm, rape, and even death, as online videos continue to incite violence.
You have to understand, everybody, this gaslighting is just the beginning. And Mr. Mannino, I would love for any one of you to point out any one of my videos where I have incited violence. I've only exposed the corruption within your friggin' city hall, and now you guys are mad that you're getting phone calls. I'm not the one doing it. I'm not the one calling you, because you don't return my phone calls. But, okay, let's let the gaslighting continue.
And urge followers to act hostile to conventional moral standards.
So, hey, I've given you a warning. Okay, this is the last time.
Who are you talking to?
You're out. You're
I
out.
haven't said a word.
You're out of order. You've repeatedly commented while I was here.
I haven't said a word.
This is your last
These
warning.
two just spoke and you're talking.
Okay, well, this is your last warning to all of you. Okay.
I'll give you one last warning.
Don't disrupt.
This is your last warning too.
Don't disrupt the meeting.
Don't disrupt the meeting, sir.
You're out of order. I'm gonna recess for 5 minutes.
Mr. Taylor was talking. What's the difference?
You interrupted me too.
So you can interrupt anybody you want at any point in time, but nobody else can say anything.
What did I do?
You said you were out of order. I know that. What did I do? He's managing the meeting. I'm here to tell you that it's time for you to leave.
Is it under threat of arrest?
I'm telling you that if you're failing to leave, then you will be issued a trespass warning.
$110,000 a year to be a
Then you will be
pig.
arrested.
So you're threatening.
Tyrant
I'm
pig.
not threatening you. I'm telling you what's going to happen. He's giving you an opportunity to leave.
$110K a year to be a tyrant
By
pig.
having you remove him.
Pig, pig, pig.
Zig high up.
Tyrant
He's violating
pig.
free speech by having you remove him.
Look at you. You need to change these uniforms to brown.
And he
That's
didn't
what you
even
need
say
to do.
anything. He did not say a word before you did that
I'm not
recess, and
stopping.
now you're kicking him out.
I'm moving. Don't assault me now. Don't murder me.
He didn't say one word. He chuckled.
He said multiple things, and he disrupted one of the speakers as he speaks.
So did the mayor. The mayor gets away with it without any punishment, with nothing.
It's okay for a board member to do it, but it's not okay for a citizen.
When the council speaks to you all, your time gets gone.
And we are all out here quiet. Nobody says anything. I mean, come on. I mean, for real. For real. We are too. This is why we're here.
A bunch of garbage.
This is why I will not stand and pledge any allegiance to the flag.
The whole reason I never came to a council meeting is because you assholes.
You guys rubber stamp everything with no questions. Millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. No questions.
Thousands should be spent on tissue. The council needs some information about this.
Why would we go and run away and hide?
Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord.
70K a year to violate people's rights right there. 70K.
It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, you looking good today. Shoot. Shoot, boy, fake titty shit now. I hid from behind. I'll buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
I wouldn't buy it for 50 cents.
Look, it'll help pay for the condo that she doesn't live in.
Oh, that's right.
Councilmember Mannino, you were speaking at the time we're recessed.
I think I'll start all over. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. God, I was just kidding. So sadly, the escalation of disruptive and obstructive behavior, as we've all unfortunately witnessed this evening and multiple council meetings prior, has created an atmosphere of hostility within these walls of City Hall, which is very unfortunate, and where many of our residents are fearful to attend and participate in their local government. Several speakers identified, why is nobody else in the city coming up to speak to these agenda items? And the truth is, because many are fearful. They're fearful of being intimidated, they're fearful of being harassed, so they do not, and that's why they're not here. Outside of these city walls is what many of you aren't hearing, seeing, or reading of what's taking place to staff and council as we're continually being threatened with harm, rape, even death, as online videos continue to incite violence and urge followers to act hostile to conventional moral standards. I believe this council plays a key role in establishing our community's climate of respect for all people, and at the same time, we have an obligation to protect our staff, our employees, the city council, and the sanctity of our city. I believe this council's decision also must apply any new amendments or new decorum rules even-handedly without a singular focus on an individual, a group, or ideals. With that said, in an effort to lower the climate and the hostility that we're unfortunately witnessing here in City Hall, I would be supportive to my fellow councils, this is to you, of temporarily suspending the aspects of Rule 6 pertaining to citizens to be heard for a term of 3 to 4 months. We can discuss that if you want. And I would also be open-minded to comments and thoughts that you had as a council on even adopting the rule as stated that the city attorney read for us. So that's kind of where I leave it. I do want to identify that if we do go those routes and we find ways to make these changes, I think it's on us to be vigilant and work even harder outside of this City Hall to ensure that we're listening to our valued voices of our community, our citizens, and our neighborhoods, and whether we find ways to get out in front of them more, I think it's very important that we do so.
Councilmember Teixeira.
Very well said, Councilmember Mannino. And I can attest to everything you said. We have received threats, continuous, consistently, disturbing threats. And especially in light of what happened nationally on Saturday, there is this atmosphere of danger lurking. Just have to open up my email, listen to my voicemail.
Cry me a river, cry me a river. I'm sorry that words hurt your feeling and you make it seem like words are going to be the danger. If somebody's making threats, yes, do whatever you have to do. I don't agree with people threatening your life or anything like that. But if they're just sending you words that you just don't like, cry me a river, cry me a river.
And then in light of what happened, national events, there is an environment where people don't feel safe anymore, whether they want to express their views or they're not. And I have received various communications from other people who are not here today, that normally are, because they feel unsafe. So this is a very difficult topic. Even going over the logistics of this rule and going through all the processes, it's difficult. So I am also in support of a temporary pause, anywhere between 4 to 6 months, and just take a breather so that everything just calms down, because I want people to be able to say what they want to say, but do it safely, and I don't think I feel safe.
Councilmember Cotton. Please. Vice Mayor.
Okay, so I've been up here the longest. I've been up here for 6 years. When I was first elected, we were in the old city hall, and we'd have people come up during Citizens to be Heard on items that weren't on the agenda that had complaints. Some of them were a little bit forthright than others, more forceful than others, but never had the timbre of the conversation that happens now. And look, I'm a big supporter of the First and Second Amendments, the whole Bill of Rights. But, I got elected to do a job here. I'm up here to do a job, and that's city business. I'm not up here to monetize somebody's website. And I said that before to them, and, then I got a real nasty thing on the website saying sticks and stones will break my bones, but hollow points expand on impact. Yeah, it's funny to you, but you didn't have that on a website on against you. So, I had a police car parked out in front of my house for about a week and a half.
Lucky you, we don't get that.
Because they thought maybe it was a threat, and I told them to go home. I thought that was just a crazy thing. So I'm up here trying to explain to you what my feelings are.
Oh man, that's probably why you have 10 to 12 feelings enforcers in the friggin' meeting, huh? That's why you use all those cops that show up in there, is to be feeling enforcers. Good job.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
You come and explain what your feelings are, and I understand. But the job here that we're to do, our 5 council members here, is to take care of business of the city. And I tell you the truth, I don't want to take away citizens to be heard on items not on the agenda, because those are people that come up. I want them to be free to come up, not have to pre-register. I think that is just exactly what was said. It's another step, and most people don't like steps. They ought to feel free to come in and say what their complaint is in our community. So I guess what I'm saying is that I would be okay for temporarily putting this off, and give us time to all cool down a little bit. You don't have to yell and scream. You don't have to have the nasty t-shirts. I mean, you don't have to do that. I don't know why you want to do that.
Here, let me explain it once again. Everybody in Clearwater, from the time that I did the open carry, Daniel.Slaughter, Brian Unks, friggin' Gandy, Meg Hasty, I mean, the list goes on. Every time that you guys say something about me, when I've done nothing to you, you just don't like my delivery. You don't like, I'm like, here's a fastball, but I throw you a curveball. You just don't like the delivery. I tell you, you just don't know. You have no clue, and you don't like what I have to say. That's the problem. Is that you say you've got a complaint, and I'm not using my feelings. I'm just getting sick and tired of you guys doing things to me and doing things to others. That's the problem. But okay, gaslight me some more.
You can come in and you can talk whatever you have, you don't disagree. If you disagree with us, we're here to listen to you. And I've changed my mind a lot when I've heard people talk. Like Beckman came up and I kind of agree with what he said. It's putting another step in front of a citizen who wants to come in and be heard. And I don't want to do that. I think that everybody should be free to come up and talk. But I just don't like the nonsense stuff. People coming up and talking about things that have nothing to do with city business. But I guess that's your right. During the 3 minutes, you can talk about your hemorrhoids if you want, when we'll listen. And I've had people do that. Not many, maybe one, but now I'm hearing a lot of different things that I don't like lately. In the last 6 months to a year, it's been difficult because it's been very a sense of danger and nastiness that I really don't like. But I'm okay for putting this off, so that's kind of where I stand.
Councilmember.Cotton.
Thank you, sir. So I have a question first, and anybody, maybe staff, can answer this. With all the cities and municipalities within Pinellas County, do other municipalities have citizens to be heard, or a portion where they don't have it? Do we know?
You mean citizens to be heard on items not on the agenda?
Correct, not on
Okay,
the agenda.
just
Is
to be
that
specific.
like with certain? Are there certain cities that we know of that don't have that?
Does anybody know?
I don't have an inventory of the 400 cities. I can certainly say that different cities have it and call it different things with different rules in place. So I call it colloquially open mic night, but that's just me being funny, in vernacular. A lot of cities refer to it as open forum. We call it citizens to be heard. I really don't like our description of it, to be perfectly candid. The problem with calling it citizens to be heard is that blurs the line between items that are on the agenda versus not on the agenda. And it implies that if the council were to temporarily pause or suspend the rule relating to citizens to be heard, that it has some impact on the agenda items, which is false. That should not be and cannot be the motion, because in Florida, there is a statutory right for citizens to actually be heard on agenda items. Just by way of very quick background, up until 2013, it was fairly common in Florida for a lot of cities to actually not allow citizen comments, even on agended items. And so the legislature changed that in 2013. So since 2013, there has been a statutory right in Florida to have citizen comments on all agenda items, and Clearwater has had it in place long before that. So that's kind of comment there. If I could just say a couple other things briefly. So number one, aside from the agenda versus non-agenda distinction, I have heard a couple comments from the Vice Mayor and also from Mr. Michael on the pre-registration. Mr. Enverly, I know, also commented on that. So, I'll defer to the clerk as far as the mechanics of it, but I will say that the rule as drafted only applies to pre-registration for items not on the agenda. So in other words, if someone shows up spontaneously to speak on an agenda item, they would still be able to do that even if they had not pre-registered. Again, that's the rule as it's currently drafted as attached to the agenda item. The other question that came up is when the new rules go into effect, and that is an important question because it's up to council to decide what motion you'd like to make today, if any. So because it is council's meeting, council gets to choose. If you make a motion to temporarily pause the citizens to be heard for items not on the agenda, it should be specified one way or the other whether that's something that you would like to go into effect for today's meeting or whether you'd like it to go into effect at the next meeting. If, on the other hand, we are talking about the rule that I have drafted, which is a permanent rule, that would not go into effect until the next meeting because it is a resolution, has to be signed by everyone, and until it's formally signed by the mayor and the city manager, it does not go into effect as a permanent rule. So I think that is an important question. I'm glad that question was asked because the council needs to understand it's your meeting, and so you get to decide more or less when new rules go into effect, when temporary rules go into effect, etc.
So I'm sitting there, I hear this, I'm like, cool, more than likely I'm going to be able to speak at the end of the meeting. But The gaslighting's still not over, and I tried to hold it together, but you're about to find out what happens.
So thank you for that. To continue down this, my thoughts. Honestly, we're going to do nothing, because I do believe in the Constitution and freedom of speech, and for anybody to come up here like Miss Kirby and tell me about trees, and for Mr. Haluba to come and tell me about the police department, and for Rudy to come up and tell me about Clearwater Point. There are citizens, though, where those comments are important, right? And I take those notes. I ask the city manager about it. I ask the city attorney about those things. I've never once asked them about Michael Taylor coming in here from Port St. Lucie, right? Because I know at the end of the day, he's monetizing this meeting. He's told us right from this stand, I'm going to come back and I'm going to make a mockery of the city of Clearwater, right? I have very thick skin. I'm a Second Amendment, speak your mind type of a person. So I empathize with you guys, but I also empathize with those people that are not me. And I put my feet in their shoes, and I can understand and empathize with them being scared, not wanting to come speak because they're being filmed, even though you have the right to film in public, because they see somebody with a plate carrier and magazines attached to them, whether there's no weapon, right? So I empathize with those different types of feelings. You guys really put us in a rock and a hard place. And by you guys, it's the ones that are the First Amendment auditors, which I think that, honestly, there's some really good ones out there. Long Island Audit, it's got some good stuff, right? Then there's other people that come and just try and disturb and get a rise so they can either catch a lawsuit or hope to get enough clicks to start getting the ads, start getting that extra paycheck. Then you guys put us in situations like this to where we have to handcuff our actual residents. I don't like it. I don't like that you're making me sit here and do that, that you're making me consider that. It goes against everything morally that I'm against or that I'm for, because that Constitution is the most important thing. Mr. Stiff will stand up and protect that. All of us would. And the other thing that you guys don't understand is that this council that was just elected is probably more for the things that you stand for than you sit there and complain about, which is just so ironic. It really is crazy to me. So to my colleagues, I'll be honest with you, you can see, I think you can hear it in my voice, this is not an easy decision. I don't know where I stand. I'll wait to hear if there's any other comments, what the mayor has to say. But it's tough, and I don't appreciate it. I understand I put myself here. I understand that I am the elected official, that I am here to hear the gripes of the citizens, that I brought this burden on myself, and I will carry it proudly. But it is not easy, and I don't appreciate it, but it is my lot. So I'll hear what the rest of my colleagues have to say, and we'll go from there.
I understand and feel your emotion. I've been here for 2 years, and I've been listening to citizens to be heard and been critiqued and accused of doing things even before I was born. And I was okay with that. But I have this deep sense of responsibility that's ingrained in me, and that is, I always am so aware that if you look through all of the history of all the bad things that have happened, there's always an element of someone looking the other way, right? And now our staff is being threatened with photographs of their homes, with directions on how to get there, with photographs of their children and threats of rape.
I'm guessing what you're failing to realize is that Kaylee Valdez, she works for the city of Clearwater, the police department, in fact. And then you've got her, Jennifer.Poirrier. Well, she's the city manager. Oh, then you got her husband. He seems to be friggin' a deputy fire chief. All you guys are all public officials, and everything you do is all public record. So just get over it. You signed up for it. If you don't like it, get out of it. Even people can find stuff on me. They can find stuff on me. It's not hard. You just type in the names.
That's our staff. And my question is, will I forgive myself if I do nothing? These are the people that work for our city. These are people we care about that are being threatened. Their children are being threatened. And I'm not okay with that. And so I want to pause so that everything calms down, because our employees are our responsibility. Their safety is our responsibility. And I don't think there's anything wrong with just pausing everything and just, you know, citizens can still communicate with me. They have my phone number. Thousands of people have it. I've left it at their doorstep. You can call me, you can meet me, you can email me. But for a few months, we need some respite. Our staff needs some respite. And things on agenda items, you can still speak to it. But I cannot look the other way as our staff and their families are being threatened. And I can also not ignore conversations with my family where they say, is this okay that my mom and my dad, or my mom, is being threatened? Those are my children asking me that question. How do I answer that? They didn't sign up for that. I was not aware that I was going to be threatened like this. And I certainly am not comfortable with our staff being threatened, because that's our responsibility.
Obviously, it's very emotional, and I thank you for being open and honest. And I'm with you. It's probably easier as a man, where we're a bit stronger. We have the ability to have a bit thicker skin when it comes to threats, right? Of violence, of attacks on you or your family. It's probably easier for us to say we're strong, we can take it. And I get that. I think where I agree with Ms. Teixeira is putting ourselves in her shoes, or her shoes, or my wife's shoes, that in the last meeting, when a gentleman with a vest and AR-15 cartridges strapped all over it ripped the vest off, the cameras go black and sound is cut, because that's the policy here, and we see 3 staff members run out back doors in the back sides that are females. That's where I'm coming at this from.
What about all the cops that are sitting in there with their bulletproof vest and their guns? Nobody's scared of them, but heaven forbid, Mr. Taylor comes and he wears a vest just like the police. Heaven forbid. Run!
Run, Forrest, run! Run, Forrest!
I'm fine with it. I can take it. I'm good with it. You're not going to hurt me with your words and your 3 minutes or your emails or your threats. I get that. But when these ladies are fearful to walk out in our downtown district because they don't know if that 21-year-old skateboarder is somebody coming that they've been accused and threatened with for the past months, that's whose shoes I'm putting myself in with this decision. Yes, I value our citizens. We all will go to any length that we need to make sure that their voices are heard and valued. We don't want to stomp on that. I am not saying in my support of temporary suspending this that I want to do away with it forever, that we want to cut off those voices, because we do not. In fact, we need to work harder to find them. Whatever direction we go in with this new rule, we need to work harder in our community to find those voices, let them be heard, and for them to feel like they're more of a part of this government and this council. I feel it, I feel you. Unfortunately, if we go in this route of temporarily suspending, that I'm understanding some of us are, it's going to take a supermajority, or we're wasting our time in a discussion. I just hope that we're able to put ourselves in their shoes, the wives and loved ones at home that feel terrorized in this situation.
Anybody else? Okay, well, I have a few things to add. First of all, and I probably should have said this earlier, we're not going to limit, and our city attorney has said, in Florida law, we're not allowed to limit anybody's right to come in and speak on an agenda item. That will still go forward. We're only talking about the part of our agenda citizens to be heard on items not on the agenda. It's been a tradition in Clearwater that we have that on the agenda. For anybody intended for the citizens, but anybody of Clearwater, people that live here primarily, to come in and speak on any issue that's not on the agenda. And it was asked earlier, and I don't know if we've ever found out, but we heard St. Petersburg limits some of that on that part of the agenda. I don't know if we ever confirmed that or not.
Based on their rules as published, St. Petersburg has an open forum period that is limited to residents, property owners, St. Pete, employees only. But I have not spoken with them. I've only read that online, so I would not want to mischaracterize their views.
I can speak to it. I spoke to the city clerk in the city of St. Petersburg today, and he is 1,000% correct. They do have an open forum with decorum rules that state you must be a city resident, own a business, be a student. It goes extensively in their decorum rules.
So we're not anything maverick or anything that other communities haven't done. We're simply trying to run an orderly meeting to allow our citizens that live here a chance to participate and not have to sit behind folks who don't live here, don't know anything about certain issues, to speak and drag out the meeting. And we're not limiting anyone's freedom of speech to say whatever they want, wherever they want, outside this meeting. Freedom of speech is limited, and everybody in here knows that there are time, manner, and place constraints, and we're only talking about a very narrow part of our agenda. I wish that we weren't even considering this, but it's gotten that part of our agenda has gotten to the point where it's just become a circus. It's being, Mr. Taylor's talked about, he's coming over here as a YouTuber. He's doing it solely for the purpose to make money, and folks get money off. They get money off, the clicks, the subscribers, and then they get, if you get enough clicks, you get advertisers. So,
yes, this is my job. My job is YouTube. Clearwater, you aren't the only one that I cover. You're not the only one I make videos on. I do videos all over the place. All over. But you just seem to keep giving me content, and that's why I keep doing it. And you're mad. So, and I can still do it from 4 hours away. It ain't over yet.
guess what? It's shocking to everybody that the more outrageous you make your videos, the more interest you get. And we've talked about earlier, in previous meetings, some of the, anonymous mostly, but some of the most threatening, vicious, inappropriate email threats we've gotten have been from all over around the world when we trace them. Switzerland, outside the United States. So we're just trying to find a way forward. And we have had a number of citizens talk about, why are you letting this happen? Why are you making it harder for us? We live here. We pay taxes here. We work here. Why are you making it harder for us by allowing these folks to drive for 4 hours in and make a circus out of the meeting and to cost the taxpayers more money, because even this meeting's probably been an hour longer than it would have been had we just limited it to folks who would just live here and talk. So, in today's day and age too, I also want to say this. You have got a gazillion opportunities to speak your mind on much better platforms, to reach a much better audience than coming here to the dais during our small portion of the agenda to say what's ever on your mind. If you think that this is your only opportunity to broadcast your voice, to say whatever's on your mind, you're completely missing it. This is a very weak opportunity for you to speak to the world about whatever is on your mind. We have limited attendance, we have limited viewership. Wish we had more.
You're welcome. Because, as you can see up here, they get a couple hundred views, and in any one of my videos, they can go viral. So, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to help you. I'm actually getting people to watch.
What I do is discourage people, local people, from coming in further. We've had a number of folks come in, talk about how they've been enslaved. The last time Mr. Taylor was here, you know, he wrapped ammunition around his vest. Didn't have a weapon, said it was his right. For all folks know, could have detonated it.
Here, let me show you something. This is what happens when you don't put ammo into the barrel of a gun.
No, it has come to our, seriously, it has come to our attention that there are a lot of people that are just really not sure what happens to a cartridge, a bullet, a round, when it goes off outside a firearms chamber, okay? We're not sure either. So we're going to find out by cooking one, okay? So y'all get ready to stand back. I'm going to latch you up pretty close. We've got the fire under this pan. We're going to make sure I got it ready to hook here. Okay. All right. To close it up a little more tightly than that, it doesn't really matter. We just want to make sure that you can see the bullet exit. Okay. All right. See what we have here. Turn the fire down. Don't need that. Whatever's happened has happened. All right. So let's open it up. I think I had it on there well enough that nothing escaped. Yeah. Okay. Let's see, there's no hole in the lid. I don't see a hole in the pan anywhere. I do see a bullet down there. Interesting. I see what's left of the case. I don't guess I even need to pull it out of there maybe, but I'll bet it's warm. So we found out what happens.
Yep. That's how I know there's no way that I could harm you without having a firearm. And I don't want to harm you. I've never tried to harm you. What is wrong with you people? You guys are so delusional in your head that it's really starting to get to you up here. Like, you guys are going Looney Tunes. But hey, what do I know? I'm not the violent one. I'm not the one doing this.
I mean, you've got ammunition. There's lots of ways you could have made yourself a threat, but that gets out. And we all know there are folks who don't follow these videos, these YouTubes. There are folks.
I've had enough of their gaslighting, and what you're about to witness is me standing up for it, and you're about to witness it.
That we don't even know who they are, but they watch these things on video and they decide they don't know anybody here. We don't even know who they are. They show up and they cause a problem for folks who are innocent. And as was said earlier, I'm the mayor. I got called names here tonight. I'm going to get called names. I understand safety concerns. I got interviewed by the ABC affiliate here in Tampa today about safety concerns. I get it. It's not about me, and it's really not about folks up here, particularly the council members.
You're absolutely right.
It's about
me. I'm going to interrupt this meeting. You guys are going to kick me out. This is a bunch of gaslighting bullshit.
It's about. You're out of order, Mr. Taylor. You're out of order. We let you speak. We let you speak. We let you speak.
I know. I'm leaving.
Please leave.
I'm going to. But you guys, that is, everything you just said is a bunch of bullshit. Every piece of what you just said was fucking bullshit. I'm sick of these friggin' people and what they friggin' do. This is all a bunch of shit. And don't worry, I'll be back. Hey, whoa, why are you just shoving him around?
I'm leaving.
You want to go to jail for obstruction, I'll do that.
Like you said, I appreciate the
I'm trying to walk out, then walk. Walk.
Hey, get out.
I wasn't kicked out. Like I said, I believe conversations, that's how it. Wait.
Yeah, I just interrupted. I just got myself kicked out of the meeting.
Between you and I, yes. Between us and government parasites, no. Have a good night.
I'm leaving, Steph. You don't have to worry about me, dude. Have a good one, Steph.
I got it on video. I got it on video. Yeah, get out of the way.
Hey, come on. Hey, hey. Bunch of fucking pieces of fucking shit, dude.
Yeah, I saw him getting up, so I came over and got in behind you.
I know, I turned around, and I'm like, dude, you're lucky you didn't get put in cuffs, dude.
I wish they would have.
It wouldn't have been good, dude.
Well,
Trust me right now, the only reason I did what I did is because I knew they weren't going to let me fucking speak.
You know, this is a small. Folks, sir, you're out of order. Would you like to stay? If not, just let us keep talking. Yeah? This is a very small piece of our agenda. Folks will still have a chance to come in and speak to any agenda. And I really regret that we're here. But in today's age, it's not just about the people who've been showing up. It's about the people who might show up. We're trying to allow our citizens an opportunity to come in and address issues. I'd love to keep this on our agenda if we could, but it's just gotten out of hand. And I feel like we need to take a pause on it, just to let things calm down, see where we're at, see who's interested in coming in on this one agenda item, talking about things not on the agenda. That said, I also want to say, we get so much communication from citizens all the time. I can tell you personally, last week, I responded to two folks, one lady from, I forget where she was at, city manager, but a woman came to the 4th of July celebration on Sand Key Bridge with her family. Her daughter dropped her wallet through the bridge down on one of the maintenance bridges, and she reached out to me because my email's the most prominent on the thing. I responded to her within an hour.
Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yes.
And we can't get in her bridge, but we figured out how to connect her. I got an email from a gentleman who got a parking ticket, who had just been downstairs at City Hall on Garden Avenue, paying it. He's from Iowa or somewhere in the Midwest. He was just here, out there checking on fishing charters or whatever. I emailed him back, call me, glad to hear what your situation was. He's like, wow, you responded to me. These are people who don't live here. And I'm not the only one. I know for a fact that the other four council members do this all the time. We respond to people. We're open to whatever you want to share with us. Some of you don't believe it, but we read everything you send to us. Now, if you send the same thing to us over and over and over and over again, we're probably not going to read it as carefully, but we respond and we read everything that comes our way. There are many ways the public can communicate with us, and that isn't limited to Clearwater citizens. So I regret that we've let this small part of our agenda kind of be hijacked for folks who are trying to run a commercial business out of it, and make for-profit videos by putting on a show, and as we've seen here today, creating outrageous behavior that makes dramatic videos. I wish we weren't doing all this. I wish people could come in like they were throughout most of the meeting, and were civil on when they got up to speak and didn't disrupt the meeting.
Yes, I was very civil throughout the whole meeting. The one part about the meeting, was this 6.21 of your friggin' council meeting, where you were basically shutting down not just myself, you shut everybody down. I was trying to be a voice, and just because you didn't like what I had to say, you had to do what you did. And how do you think that's going to work out for you? Because there are links in the description, and I'm going to pop up a little friggin' screenshot here saying, hey, reach out to us through email, social media, and a bunch of other outlets, right? You're going to see that on that screen. If you want it, you got it. No problem. I'll help you out.
I wish we were in that place. Unfortunately, that's not what's happened since we've been on. 3 new members been on the dais in the last 3 months. And so I would lean however the council wants to go. I think a temporary for 3 months suspension of it, it's not going to limit a lot, but allow us to just see how that works, see how taking it off works. And then we can put it back on in 3 months if things have changed. But for right now, I just think we need to lower the emotion and lower the tension, and I would lean towards that if the council wanted to do that.
You think 3 months is enough?
I'll make a motion to that.
Do you want a formal
I think
one?
we need to make sure that
Yeah.
it has everything
So-
included in it, including the time, the date.
You worthless piece of crap. I saw you on the Kelly Doug show, and you said this.
Well, Rule 15 was passed, and it is it's a First Amendment right. And I'll stand up for anybody's
Right,
First Amendment
exactly,
right, and
sure.
we'll gladly give them their 3 minutes.
Do you have it, or do you want me to?
So tell me if this is okay. I move to temporarily pause for a period of 3 months that portion of Rule 6, order of business relating to the citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda, effective next meeting. Is that specific enough?
I certainly believe that is specific enough because it specifies, number one, what you're looking to accomplish, the duration, as well as when it goes into effect. I mean, those are the elements that you'll have to specify. And as I said earlier, if that's the motion, it will require a supermajority in order to pass.
Second.
Any discussion on it? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
And the first time I've ever heard somebody actually say no at a council meeting is the guy that you see up here on the screen. His name is Ryan.Cotton. His email will be in the links below. If you think he did the right thing, please let him know. If he did the wrong thing, please let him know. If you think any of these council members did the wrong thing, the links are in the description. Do not make threats. Violence is not the answer.